And here's Sears. They're driving on tractors. Thanks for coming out tonight. That's the little mini sleigh. Now we got the big dog. Everybody, welcome Santa Claus.
Favorite story of all time. You may have heard it before. It's about a little boy who really, truly believed in Santa Claus. All his heart he believed in Santa Claus. But he went to school and all of his buddies and pals at school, they told him there was no such thing as Santa Claus. Why, it broke his heart. And he thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay up on Christmas Eve and I'm going to see if I can't hear those sleigh bells and those reindeer hooves up on the roof of the house. So there he was laying in bed, he was waiting and he was listening on Christmas Eve, and he heard a noise outside. But it didn't sound like reindeer, and it certainly didn't sound like sleigh bells. So he ran to the window and he looked outside. And what to his amaze was there was a great big train right in his front yard. Why, he thought there wasn't even any tracks in his front yard. How'd that train get there? But there it was. And he looked down into the train, and there was a man standing in one of the cars. He's a big fella, and he looked down at the boy, and he looked at his big old pocket watch. He looked back up at the boy again, and he motioned for him to come on down. And the boy ran downstairs, and he asked that man, what is this? And the guy told him in a great big deep voice, he said, why, this is the Polar Express. We're going to the North Pole tonight to see Santa Claus. Come on aboard. Well, the boy held out his hand, and the conductor held him on board the train, and the train took off, lickety-split. As soon as he got on the train, he noticed there were other little boys and girls just like him. They were all in their nightgowns and their bathrobes and their pajamas, and they were all eating Christmas cookies and candy, drinking hot chocolate. It was really good, cookies. I like cookies, by the way. I like chocolate chips the best, just in case anybody wants to leave me any. So, the train was going really fast. It got out of the city. It was in the deep, dark woods, and that's where all the lean, mean wolves roam around and little bunny rabbits scurry about. Got out of the woods, and it started up into the mountains. It started going higher and higher in the mountains. You got clear to the top of the mountains. All the kids on the train, they thought they could reach out and touch the sky. They were so high. They went around the bend on the mountain and then down the other side. It was all downhill. And the train just started screaming. The whistle was just screaming. Jingle, how'd that train go? Woo, woo! Oh, yeah, it was really going fast. Well, they looked out to the big, white, wide expanse. That was the great polar ice cap close to North Pole City. The train slowed even a little more. They could see the lights of North Pole City. All the buildings there in the city are all lit up. All the elf houses and the toy factories light up. Well, they got right to the edge of town, and they noticed there was nobody in the town. It was all empty. They said, well, where is everybody? And he said, well, all the elves they're right downtown. They're there waiting for Santa to give them that very first gift for Christmas. Well, everybody wanted to know who gets that first gift. The conductor says, well, Santa's going to pick one of you boys and girls right here. He's going to pick one of you boys and girls right here to get that first gift. Well, everybody was really excited, man. They all got off the train and they headed toward the center of town. And then they saw the elves. They saw thousands of elves. We have 15,756 elves there in North Pole City right now. It takes a lot of elves to get all those toys and those presents ready every year. They got right to the center as they were there. And then I started. Now, while I'm telling you this, there's Steve Bell and get it ready for a little bit later on. Well, and I put him on my lap right there in my... I said, Eric, I'm going to get... Well, Eric knew he could have me. He says, what do you like to have? That was easy. I asked the bell up to me. I rang the bell and I gave it to Eric. And I said, this is the very first gift. And about that time, I looked up at the watch, the clock down, and a lot of friends delivered. So I asked Eric to step down. He put that bell in his pocket and he hopped off the sleigh. And I called to the reindeer and I called them all by name. I said, on Congress, on Blitzen, on Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen. Did I leave one out? Comet and Cupid, right on. Listen, I wanted to sing. I called them all by name and we took off in the blink of an eye. Well, all the kids got back on the train for the trip back home again. The train took off again, lickety-split, right out of North Pole City. Well, all the kids wanted to see that bell that I'd given Eric. And Eric said, Sherry, it's yours, Bruce. He reached in his pocket for that bell, and all he found was a big hole in his pocket. He had a hole in his pocket, and he had lost the bell. Well, the kids all said, well, let's go look for it. But they couldn't because the train had already left. Oh, it was a long trip home. It was very sad for Eric. That's all he ever wanted was that bell so he could prove to all of his friends and to everybody that he really is a Santa Claus. Well, the train dropped him off at the house and he waved goodbye to all of his friends. He went upstairs and went to bed. The very next morning, his sister Sarah was beating at his door and said, Eric, quick, get up. It's Christmas morning. Santa's in here, presents under the tree. We both ran down the stairs, and sure enough, I'd been there. They had presents under the tree. They opened up all the gifts and it was a pretty good Christmas, but Eric kept thinking about that bell. He even wondered if maybe he just dreamed that he had went to North Pole. Then Sister Sarah said, wait a minute, there's one more little package right under the tree. It's got your name on it, a little red, white box. He opened it up and what was inside that box? Exactly, a bell. There was a note from me. In that note I said, I found this in the seat of my sleigh. You better fix that hole in your pocket. Well, Eric rang that bell real big. Sister Sarah smiled all over. This sounded the bell. But Dad said, that's too bad, son. You've got a broken bell. Eric rang it again and Dad said, here. Mom said, yeah, that bell doesn't work. And the reason they didn't is because they no longer believe in Santa Claus. But Sarah heard the bell. Eric took that bell to school with him. All of his friends heard the bell. But after years went by, and they all got older, one by one his friends got to where they could no longer hear that bell. There even came a day and Sister Sarah couldn't hear the bell. But to this very day, Eric, an old man now, he's 88 years old. You can still hear that in a little while. I want you to start ringing those bells. I'll tell you when. And see if we can fire this play up and we can blast off out of here, okay? Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, we're going to have to ask everybody to step back away from Santa's sleigh. Keep your bell handy because in just a moment he's going to tell you when to ring those bells. It's very important to watch for his signal. Please step back to the curb area, please. Everybody step back. Yeah. Following Santa's departure, we're going to light up the lights up. Uh-oh. She's fine.